There are things people have tried to ignore for far too long. Strange lights in the sky, silent objects, crashes, mysterious figures, and footage that makes it far too difficult to say it was just imagination. And the most unsettling part is that videos like these are becoming more and more common. Today on Top Facts, you're about to see a shocking collection of UFO encounters, strange discoveries, and disturbing moments that still have no clear explanation. Watch until the end. As always, we save the creepiest footage for last. This footage, filmed in 2004, shows what looks like a classic UFO sighting. We see a spherical object with bright white lights rotating in the sky. But what happened after the video was first published made the story even more interesting. Someone shared a photo of a similar sighting in the comments. This detail suggests that the person who captured the UFO on camera was not the only witness that day. And when several eyewitnesses report the same thing, we can resist the questions about what exactly we really saw for as long as we want. Or we can solve the mystery together. In the sky above the United States, a local resident pointed his phone at the night sky when he noticed two spheres of light drifting through it. The spheres slowly passed over his neighborhood. They did not move like satellites and did not blink like airplanes. But what followed was genuinely alarming. In the footage, a military helicopter can clearly be seen flying after the lights, as if it was trying to track them. All three stayed steadily close to one another for some time. Later, the authorities confirmed that helicopter exercises had been conducted that night, but official sources denied any information about the participation of the two glowing objects in this procession. As you can imagine, that denial only raised more questions. Because we do not like being treated like idiots, do we? This video shows an entire group of glowing spheres drifting across the night sky. Even though the footage was captured from far away, the mysterious lights were clearly visible. Soon after this video was published, another one appeared online, even stranger. At first, the spheres clustered together and moved as if they were connected. Then, without warning, they scattered into the air, and their beams of light shot off in different directions. A few moments later, all the spheres slowly vanished. Where did they go? And more importantly, why were they here at all? Recently, this footage spread across the internet at viral speed. In it, we see a glowing sphere racing over vast, open fields at incredible speed. The spherical object moves so fast that you immediately understand this is not an ordinary airplane, and not even a supersonic fighter jet. They say the video was recorded in a small town in Scotland, but the exact location has not been disclosed. And, according to some experts, that secrecy is not accidental. Active UFO enthusiasts claim that over the past few months, many similar sightings have been recorded in that area. This means that officials are deliberately keeping the details quiet. We can only assume that what we are seeing is a rare atmospheric phenomenon or some advanced technology. But let us not deceive ourselves. This is something completely different, would you agree? Whatever flashed through the frame was not covered by the media. This video starts quite ordinarily. Some kind of rock is lying in the road and blocking traffic. But within a few minutes, it became obvious that the rock was not entirely ordinary when several New York Police Department vehicles arrived at the scene at once. At first, the man filming thought it was some kind of art installation, but the reaction of the police made it clear the boulder was of great interest to them. What at first glance resembled a rock formation turned out to be part of something bigger, a stone of unknown origin, covered all over with something like a relief pattern with a distinct texture. And even if we call it simply a meteorite that fell there during the night, its unusual appearance clearly marks it as a visitor from space. Since the authorities ordered the finding to be evacuated immediately, that means it was hiding secrets we are not supposed to know. 10 seconds, UFO on the farm. A farmer from the Canadian province of Saskatchewan was working in a field with his eldest son when their eyes fell upon an interesting fragment. They had no idea what it was or how it had ended up on their land. So an ordinary workday turned into a strange discovery that simply could not be ignored. From a distance, the object may have looked like trash, but up close it was clearly something else. The fragment weighed almost 50 kilograms and had heavy burn marks, as if it had survived a fire. The material included carbon fiber and aluminum honeycomb, which are not usually found on farmland. Experts suggested that the piece might have been debris from a satellite that re-entered and slammed into the Earth's atmosphere. By the way, similar incidents had already happened before in the province of Saskatchewan, but the question still remained open. How did a falling satellite and such massive debris go unnoticed? The second question concerns the material. The carbon fiber composite consisted of 3 layers, aluminum honeycomb was found in the middle, and the outer part was again made of composite carbon. Not a single official source commented on this fact, so let us try to do it ourselves. A man stepped outside and suddenly saw a huge flying object above his house. Its size and sudden appearance were a frightening surprise. Everything about the UFO looked disturbing, but what worried him most was the silence. The object made no sound at all. To human perception, any aircraft should make noise. Otherwise, how would it stay in the air? The absence of engine noise is considered impossible for technologies created by humans. And if such means of movement really do exist, then our technological innovations are just kindergarten compared to the achievements of those civilizations. If we cannot even guess how their saucers fly, then even more so we will not be able to know why they are visiting us. Let us see what we can do against an alien invasion. One late evening in New Jersey, a local resident was frightened by noise outside. He went out and met other alarmed people who were staring into the dark sky. A multicolored glowing object was approaching them. For a moment, fear and disbelief took over. Could it really have been a UFO? In a desperate attempt to react somehow, the local resident pulled out a gun and tried to shoot at it, but the object did not stop. It slowly and steadily drifted away into the distance. Should we laugh at the futility of using earthly weapons against such technology? We should think about the consequences of encounters with UFOs and what may happen in the near future. What if the thing we still refuse to believe in today presents us with a surprise that changes the life of humanity once and for all? The user who published this clip wished to remain anonymous. From the very first seconds, it seems that the footage was shot in a quiet parking lot. But as soon as the camera zooms in on the horizon line, it appears that a massive figure is descending there. Slowly, methodically, controllably, just the way airplanes land on a runway. Skeptics wrote that it was simply a plane wrapped in vapors that distorted its outlines. But we do not see any signs of an airport nearby. The strangest thing is that the object appears partially hidden in a cloud, as if it is deliberately camouflaging itself. A local resident in Mexico was returning home at dusk. As he was driving past the airport, he noticed something that immediately made him feel uneasy. Above the grounds, a giant disc-shaped object was hovering in the air. The man stopped and began filming it with his phone. What happened next shocked him to the core. The object slowly moved toward the airport, positioned itself above a hangar, and began descending until it disappeared inside. When the man tried to get closer, security stopped him. Later, the authorities denied that any aircraft or object had landed there. Until recently, this man had not even mentioned the existence of the recording. Otherwise, who knows? Perhaps he too would have disappeared without a trace much earlier, just like the creators of other similar content. Pilots flying over the state of Oregon suddenly discovered that they had become witnesses to an unexplainable phenomenon. One of them immediately contacted the Air Traffic Control Center, and that was when he learned that his report was not the only one. Apparently, everyone who happened to be in the sky noticed strange objects with bright red lights. They were maneuvering at an altitude of about 300 meters. Later, the Federal Aviation Administration confirmed that all reports had been recorded at the same time, 11:39 at night, and were officially labeled satellite lights. Pilots were advised to avoid getting close to them and to avoid flying in that area. But if they really were satellites, why were pilots given such an instruction? Everything begins to seem much more sinister. Did someone know something and not want to tell everyone else? The first thing people say when reporting their UFO sightings is, "You will think I am crazy." But if you are piloting an airplane and see something instantly move from right to left in your path, and then flash a bright light 3-4 times, of course you are going to report to air traffic control. Something is not right in the sky. Let us examine this incident aboard a JetBlue flight, when the pilot reported the movement of some objects at flash speed. In a fraction of a second, they covered a great distance. It happened so quickly that the pilot could not even understand what he had seen. He described the movement trajectory of the foreign objects in detail. It was not a single random flash, but an actual presence. Then, another report appeared. A second incident was reported over open waters, when emergency medical service pilots and the Coast Guard witnessed movement over the ocean. Something was moving at supersonic speed. Now cameras record everything, and it is impossible to dismiss these sightings as simple illusions. The pilot asked the tower, "Are there any aircraft within my visible range observing the coastline?" He reported that he could see some interesting lights, not satellites, but possibly airplanes. But the strange part is that they sharply changed direction. This recording was shared by a person who claimed to live near a secret US military base. Supposedly, he was simply out for a walk when strange movement caught his attention. What he captured looks like an unidentified aircraft, or a UFO, that was trying to take off. So, there is a theory that claims the world's superpowers are secretly striving to establish contact with extraterrestrial civilizations. And in order to understand the principles of their technology, they began building ships, imitations of UFO designs. If this theory is even partially true, then this footage may not be a sighting of aliens, but proof that tests of our own Earth-made saucers have already become routine at secret facilities. If you call the hypothesis absurd that governments and military forces do come into contact with and try to cooperate with aliens, then first watch this story. In the first episode, 2 helicopters are flying beside an unidentified flying object. It does not look like a chase. Rather, the flight looks like a coordinated escort. For some people, this may be enough to believe that humans and aliens may already be working together. But the second clip tells a different story. This time, the pursuit is clearly visible. We see an unidentified object closely followed by 2 aircraft. The movement is tense, controlled, and even from the outside, it looks far from cooperative. So, what do you say? Are these craft escorting it or intercepting it? One thing I can note for certain is that the military is not asleep. Essentially, any UFO visit is an intrusion into our airspace and a threat to the safety of Earthlings. The special services continue to lose secret footage. This time, it supposedly leaked from NASA. Right now, we are seeing what many call proof of the existence of a satellite, with the Gothic name Black Knight. Conspiracy theories claim that this is not just a satellite, but an extraterrestrial spacecraft secretly orbiting Earth along a near-polar trajectory. According to theorists, NASA is actively concealing its existence and origin. While skeptics argue that it is merely space junk, UFO researchers point to its unusual shape and strange orbit. All of this suggests mysterious events the public is not meant to know about. What do you think? Is it possible that a relic of alien technology inhabits our sky? Or is this yet another case of space debris entering the scene? footage continues to leak out of Area 51. This video may confirm many of the rumors associated with that place. It looks like we have a huge crane lifting something that resembles a UFO. Several people are standing nearby, most likely supervising the operation. This footage was uploaded by a person who claims he himself witnessed these unusual events in that area in the late 90s. And yes, in an era when artificial intelligence makes it difficult to trust everything you see, skepticism is perfectly fair. But in reality, Area 51 has been surrounded by mystery and contradictions for decades. So this one story alone is enough to believe that experiments with UFOs did exist. Who knows? Maybe by now they have gone far beyond that? A resident of Dubai was filming unsettled weather. A storm was beginning, when something completely unexpected entered his camera frame. Lightning flashed, and it suddenly illuminated the outline of a massive triangular figure in the sky, hanging high above without moving. According to preliminary estimates, the motionless, enormous object could have reached up to 200 meters in width. The object looked perfectly camouflaged against the night sky, and it appeared only for a fraction of a second, when the lightning lit up everything around it. If not for that strike, no one would ever have noticed it. The object did not move, did not blink, and made no sound. It silently watched the city below. As soon as the storm subsided, it disappeared, leaving viewers wondering what had really been hovering above Dubai that night. This time, the material captured by an eyewitness was not blurry or shaky. The camera recorded something clear and disturbingly convincing. A resident of Florida uploaded a video filmed near his neighborhood. The object has a distinct triangular shape with a strange glow. Its lights are located along the edges. Even more alarming is its low altitude. It was that close. For a moment, the man had the feeling that the craft might land at any second. But fortunately, that did not happen. The triangle slowly vanished into the clouds, leaving behind unanswered questions and many frightened people. And what would you feel if you saw something like that above your home? In 2023, a resident of Denver was returning home late in the evening when something in the sky made him go cold with terror. A massive disc-shaped object was hanging above the rooftops, glowing softly as if lit from within. The man pulled out his phone and began recording. The object remained completely motionless, and a wary silence spread through the air. Then, a narrow beam of light descended from the disc to the ground and began slowly pulsing, as if scanning the earth. When the recording reached the internet, heated debates began immediately. Many agreed that the UFO did not resemble any known aircraft. Accordingly, by the method of elimination, it did not belong to any earthly means of transport, and most likely was an alien spacecraft. This footage was captured by a surveillance camera in Missouri. The resident who shared the clip posted it online and asked the internet community to provide explanations. Naturally, many immediately called the phenomenon an alien ship. One user even offered a more specific description of the same incident. And here's something even stranger appeared in the story. Instead of discussing only one flying object, people began talking about the presence of numerous humanoid figures in the frame. They were moving through the sky, supposedly as a whole group. Some believe these could have been aliens, who had entered earthly space like divers. In any case, everything should have a rational explanation. So now, it is your turn to offer your assumptions. A resident was walking his dog on the hills of the Falkland Islands when he recorded an alleged UFO encounter. At first, he was simply filming while they played with the dog, and when he returned home, he decided to edit a funny clip. But as soon as he rewatched the footage, he was stunned. In one moment, an incomprehensible object can be seen approaching from afar. It performed an unusual maneuver, something like a turn, then leveled out and continued moving forward. According to those who watched the footage, it was one of the most literal and convincing pieces of evidence of a UFO sighting. What do you think? Is the footage genuine, or is it fake? This footage was shot by a former U.S. Air Force pilot serving in the Liberty Wing unit at an airbase in the United Kingdom. According to his account, a glowing red aircraft suddenly appeared in the sky and hovered directly above him. Its unusual triangular shape immediately drew his attention. Although it is difficult to prove anything based on this footage, after the video hit the internet, the story gained more details in the comments section. One user claimed that he lives nearby and confirmed that he saw the same object. But according to him, there was one major difference in what he observed. The UFO was not simply hovering in the air, it was transmitting a signal in Morse code. When the message was translated, the result stunned everyone. The message read, "Extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial." And if this is true, maybe those who sent it were no longer planning to hide. Perhaps they wanted the world to know they are here. What do you think? How difficult was it for beings who arrived from very far away to master our Morse code and choose an appropriate language to transmit their message? A truck driver in Highland, Illinois, noticed an intense light in the sky to the northeast. The unknown object was slowly drifting over the road, with no wings and making no sound at all. The eyewitness contacted the local police to report what he had seen. His call was not ignored. Remarkably, soon after that, people in nearby towns noticed the same object. The police posted observers. They described the UFO as a huge triangular aircraft. When someone tried to track it, the object quietly disappeared beyond the tree line. And it did not simply disappear. In the few seconds it took the officer to check whether the video had recorded properly, the object had moved at least a mile, if not farther. In total, the sighting was confirmed by 6 witnesses, 5 of whom were law enforcement officers. All of them saw the same massive silent triangle moving across the sky over southern Illinois. Is that not enough evidence, in your opinion? These people had no reason to become part of a prank, but for some reason the story of the UFO over Illinois did not appear in the morning news. Let us look at material older than our parents. Back in 1945, this man named Jose Padilla was a small boy. At that time, he and his friend became witnesses to an unforgettable event. Near San Antonio in the state of New Mexico, only weeks after the end of the Second World War, the boys saw a strange object shaped like an avocado crash into the landscape. But the flying object was not the most shocking part. Small creatures emerged from the wreckage, and they moved upright, as though that were natural for them. Their figures resembled human ones, but from the nature of their movements, it was clear that they were not earthly people. And only years later did this man dare to share his revelations in an interview. And now, it has become known that the U.S. Department of Defense has launched an investigation into this incident. Hardly anyone would have believed children at their word. Perhaps the saying is true, that there is a time for everything. Do we have a chance to learn the truth? These people were on a cruise when they noticed a strange aircraft hovering directly above them. And once again, the object floated silently, its presence revealed only by lights in the shape of a triangle. The situation was growing tenser because the UFO did not react at all to the crowd of observers below, as though their presence had no significance whatsoever. According to eyewitnesses, several calls were made to emergency services, but people were advised to ignore the incident. Well, given the growing number of unexplained sightings, especially across the United States, perhaps now is not the time to look away from the horrifying truth. They are not afraid of us, and they are not hiding. Panic began in northeastern China, when people in Henan province noticed something falling from the sky. Residents said they saw several burning fragments flying toward the ground, and then there came a loud piercing sound that made the surroundings tremble. For a moment, no one understood what was happening. Then the villagers discovered a large spherical object lying in an open area. District media even suggested the possibility of an alien invasion. But the authorities clarified the situation, stating that it was some kind of space debris that had ignited upon entering the Earth's atmosphere and then fallen down. But for the people who saw it with their own eyes, that explanation did not seem convincing, and they called it yet another official attempt to hide the truth. The European Organization for Nuclear Research, CERN, is one of the largest and most respected scientific research centers in the world. While it was revealing information about its studies of ghost particles and how to detect them, an even stranger incident occurred, one that has been connected to this organization. Witnesses claimed that a mysterious portal suddenly appeared in the air near the laboratory. In other words, the heavens opened up, and almost immediately, the weather changed drastically. Naturally, this triggered active discussion. People began linking the unusual event to CERN's experiments, believing that some kind of installation had been created there that could sharply affect the atmosphere. The video quickly spread online, where it caused even more astonishment and debate. For many years, rumors have grown that Antarctica hides something more than just ice. And this clip certainly fuels that theory. In the footage, filmed by researchers, a massive saucer-shaped object can be seen hovering low above the frozen landscape. It remains completely motionless despite the strong wind, then emits a faint glow onto the icy surface below, as if scanning it or collecting samples. According to a whole group of eyewitnesses, the object made no sound whatsoever. Soon, it slowly rose upward, moved slightly backward, and disappeared beyond the white horizon. In a place where there are no civilian flights and strict flight restrictions are in force, this sighting seems so strange that it unsettles even the most desperate skeptics. A man in Ohio captured something resembling an entire fleet of UFOs. Unlike previous sightings of solitary craft, this incredible fleet moved through the sky like a caravan. If we take into account the coordinated movement of several alien ships at once, then they must have been pursuing an organized goal, hovering there, observing a specific place on Earth and everyone who was there. Then, as quickly as they had appeared, they vanished without a trace. People who do not want to believe will say that it is all complete nonsense, but sightings like this continue to accumulate, and it is becoming harder and harder to ignore them. A geologist stepped off a hiking trail and came across an embedded formation in a rock that did not feel like an ordinary stone to the touch. A disc made of unknown material seems to have fused with the rock many years ago. Its texture did not correspond to anything that specialist had studied before. In the end, he called the discovery a part of an alien ship. Perhaps the idea is not so far-fetched. The fact that we are only now talking about aliens does not mean they were not here long before our discoveries. It is logical to assume that these beings may have visited Earth millions of years ago. Even ancient civilizations, especially the Egyptians, were often credited with possessing technologies far ahead of their time. Is it possible that humans had contact with extraterrestrial beings, and that this discovery may serve as proof of it? An independent expert shared a video recording which, he claims, dates back to 1979. The video was filmed in Colorado, near Archuleta Mesa. A massive saucer-shaped aircraft is resting there inside a deep hollow. According to him, that place was the secret underground Dulce base, similar to Area 51, located exactly 500 miles away from it. But the researcher claimed that the object had not been built there, but had been discovered during excavation. Supposedly, the ship had lain underground for millions of years. They say this clip was filmed on the territory of the famous Area 51 in Nevada. And at first, we observed nothing unusual. The military are carrying out their routine work. Only a little later does something strange appear in the frame. A small humanoid figure somehow blended in among them, without causing any reaction of surprise or panic. Apparently, everyone there is already used to it. The figure walked around in a business-like manner, as though it felt completely at home. Soon after this video appeared, social media exploded with theories. Many believe that the ordinariness of the footage pointed not to a discovery, but to long-standing cooperation between the US military and extraterrestrial beings. But here's the question: how did they manage to reach mutual understanding, and why are they cooperating? Share your thoughts in the comments. A man uploaded a short clip that quickly attracted the attention of the whole world. In an unknown place, dark clouds suddenly lit up with massive flashes of light. They flared and collided, as though an intense battle was taking place in the sky. The nature of the flashes did not resemble anything natural. The event itself seemed unnatural. The author of the video claimed that he had witnessed some sort of aerial conflict and insisted that he had recorded several clips that night. It is hardly surprising that shortly afterward, the additional videos disappeared from his account, leaving only this single clip. Once again, we have every reason to fuel the conspiracy theory that all information regarding alien interference in the life of Earth is being carefully concealed. This footage of a UFO crash shook the entire internet. It all began in 2024, when an anonymous user uploaded this video to Twitter. The person claimed that the footage showed a UFO falling in the Atlantic area. But the story did not end there. The anonymous user continued accusing the American military of covering up the entire incident, claiming that officials quickly seized all information before it had time to spread. Since no official details were made public, the rumors only grew and became more disturbing. Do you remember the story about the alien in Las Vegas, caught by a surveillance camera? There is another story involving police camera footage that allegedly captured an emergency UFO landing on Earth. This recording shows a different angle of the same incident, and it surfaced only recently. The person who recorded it says he simply went outside and saw a strange blue light illuminate the night sky. It lasted only for a moment, then vanished, as though the object flying by had broken apart or fallen. What is interesting is how closely this story resembles the more famous one captured by a police camera. I am not talking about connecting the two clips. I am not even asking you to believe in any particular theory. But when we find several recordings from different angles showing us similar facts, we cannot accuse everyone of staging hoaxes, can we? A family from Las Vegas called emergency services, claiming that a UFO had crashed near their home. They reported seeing beings in the yard between 2.5 and 3 meters tall with large, piercing eyes. When the police reviewed recordings from all the surveillance cameras in the area, they found nothing. The case was quietly closed. Several weeks later, one of the family members published shocking footage recorded by his own camera. It allegedly showed a massive humanoid figure sitting in a dark corner of their backyard. When the video was handed over to security services, it was dismissed as speculation. Officials stated that they would not reopen the investigation. That decision only heightened suspicions, making many people think the evidence had been real. It is just that, for some reason, the Las Vegas incident was being deliberately concealed. And what do you say about it? On New Year's Eve, nearly all police cars in downtown Miami showed up in one place. As a result, the parking area near the mall turned into an arena full of chaos. Shoppers began running out of the shopping center when a rumor spread that a giant alien had been spotted nearby. Almost instantly, a video appeared online showing a smoky figure hovering in the air. It was exactly to that place that all the patrol cars had gathered, seemingly trying to create some kind of perimeter. Officials denied the information and the authenticity of the video. They explained that the commotion and concentration of patrol cars had happened because of numerous panic calls. Fine, but what exactly made people rush to call the police en masse? Many believe the full story is still being carefully hidden from the public. Maybe someone can explain? I know that many people have seen something similar in their lives, so we would be glad to hear about your experience in particular. Be sure to write about it in the comments. And subscribe to TopFacts. the most unbelievable compilations of facts and videos from all over the internet. Thank you for watching, and right now click on one of our previous episodes.